Yeah.
I just wanted to know what are, and this is kind of open as well, what are people's opinions, this is something really small, athletic cuts. What has been done from the president's office or from the UC Regents in terms of athletic cuts? Because the amount of money that's being saved is such a small amount, and like a lot of my friends and me personally are, they're losing opportunities, and these are, more valued opportunities than I think people give it credit for. And what action is being done, or is there any action being done from up above our athletic director and our few ladies who work over in RAC to help those students that chose to come to Davis and chose to compete in those athletics that are now? I mean, I know this is a problem that's all over the state, but specifically here, has there been anything done? What are people's opinions on it? So I'm kind of looking for.
Well, I mean, I think I can speak.
I'm not sure if you guys discussed it earlier. I had a paper due. So.
No, we haven't really discussed it. But what the university, the office of the president does is they don't make cuts on campus specifically, but they will say, okay, this is your reduced budget. Like they went to Linda Kane and said, this is your reduced budget. You make the cuts. So I mean, it sucks for her, I guess. But so they didn't say you had to cut sports. They did say you have to cut something because we're not giving you as much money. And she chose sports apparently.
I want just to mention that they hired her. Just like she's not elected. They hired her. They are responsible for her actions too. They choose to bring her, and she has the reputation of cutting everything. So they know what they're doing. It's not just themselves.
Yeah.
I think also it's important to note that even when there's a promise of restored funding, the chancellor or anyone else higher up doesn't promise to restore anything that's been cut. And I think that's really interesting. It's like when things get cut, they don't come back.
Which is why none of the people in athletic studies want to retire, because those positions aren't guaranteed at all. So actually the Native American Studies program might be non-existent within the next, I don't know how many years.
But has there, I know there's been certain types of rules that were put in place for athletics specifically, and the fact that some of those things were broken, like promises to students.
Well, with the unions right now, the administration, with ASPE union, they had a contract they signed 2 years ago, and then the administration just broke the contract. And it was 2 weeks ago, a bunch of workers, they had a meeting with this guy in facilities, and then he disappeared. He wasn't there for the meeting. And then we marched up into the chancellor's office, 5th floor. All the janitors, everyone, were all in the lobby, and they sent police in and everything. And we were just like, hey, we want to talk to somebody. We want to know, you violated the administration, you violated the terms of the contract, and yet you're nowhere to be found. Nor can you send any kind of representative or whatever. They just sent this one guy in that was just yeah, I don't know who you talk to. And we're like, who sent you, man? Who sent you? Let us talk to who sent you. You don't want to talk to me. You can't do anything. And so, 10% sent you, and he's just like, I'm just doing my job. And that's what they say. They finally, the workers, many of the workers, their shift started at 5:30, so most of the people went, and then they got a meeting with someone. It wasn't with the chancellor or anything, some vice president, but that's what it takes. You gotta have, you gotta send 50 angry janitors up into the chancellor's office, shouting, chanting, in order to just get a meeting, because you're...
Athletics has done that, definitely. But as far as, you guys I've been at your rallies in Rock Hall where we went to the 2nd floor where, trips and try to get up to the 5th floor. Yeah, you guys have done a great job about that. But as far as the office of the president, I don't know if you could, I kind of doubt that President Udall or the Regents would say you have to cut sports. They just cut the budget and then they see what happens.
Of course but that's not really, I was addressing more of the fact that she straight up, flat out broke a promise that was made to the students of this university, and there's absolutely nothing being done by anyone.
I think that's just an example of what's been happening more broadly.
Yeah.
And that's been happening, like we just said with the unions, their agreements have been,
have been broken and violated. And so I think the point that you made earlier about retiring professors is actually a really good one. I don't think a lot of people are thinking about that. But in dealing with these cuts, one of their biggest strategies is to not hire new positions once people leave, and then they also try to buy out people. So for large departments like mathematics or political science, that's not really a big deal because there's still a ton of professors left. But when it comes to these small departments like textiles and clothing or ethnic studies, like there's not a lot of professors there to begin with. So when they don't hire new professors, it's like the department kind of withers away. So I don't think a lot of people are thinking about that.
The math department's also funded in part by the Pentagon. So that's like something else.
Ethnic studies.
The
No.
math
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay.
And our military budgets aren't getting cut at all.
Yeah.
And it's important to also say that ethnic studies are being cut their way now. When people leave, they're not hiring new people because for the last 8 years, that was the situation. They are not hiring new faculty. So every faculty who leaves, there's no new hirings for the last 8 years. So it's systematic. It's before the crisis. It's before the budget crisis in California. It's a systematic plan to transform the university. That's how we should see it and act with it. I would like to respond to what you're saying. I'm sorry to tell you, but no one in higher ups will ever be angry at Kateli because she's doing her job. That's what she's here to do. It's to cut these programs. And the situation with workers, the contract she had is a legal paper. It's like a legal thing. They can kind of complain to the labor of the Bureau of Labor, and they can do some legal stuff. But to the students, it's no contract. It's just promises. So the only way to force her to to bring back these programs or to change anything is to force her through actions. No one will support the students, it's just students who must take actions to change it. Nothing will happen from that.
And then actually might want to look at legal actions too, because there have been 2 cases where the UC Regents promised not to raise tuition in professional schools, and then they did, and students who were affected actually sued the Regents and got their money back.
But the problem with that is after that they just put a note that said we may change it at any time.
Right, that's for fees, but that wouldn't affect sports if they
Well,
violate
I'm just saying
child.
here, there's no one else in here, but I have to take off.
Thank you for